We just watched episode 4 of Gotham entitled Arkham. So what did we learn? Well, it turns out your mom telling you to put that thing down or you'll poke your eye out was actually really true. Oswald Cobblepot loves making up fake names, but is he really any good at it? Peter Humboldt? And don't take a box of paper clips in Gotham or the GCPD will find you. I'm Chad Perkins. It's time to take the money, but leave the cannoli on this edition of the Gotham After Show. That's great. Okay. Oh, that's great. Welcome to the Gotham After Show, the after show that films about 24 hours after Gotham to give you plenty of time to get in touch with us. Please welcome our panel of Gotham and Batman enthusiasts and experts, starting with, from Inside the Force, Dave Cottingham. How you doing, Dave? All right.
There's a delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. All the way on the left, from Star Wars TCG, the podcast that is Star Wars the Card Game podcast, it is Cory Cooley.
Good night, mates.
And for the first time, please welcome to the show from the In the Comics podcast, the podcast that is in the mix of all things comics, and also contributor for Unleash the Fanboy. Please welcome Russell Johnson.
Thank you.
Russ.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, thanks for coming on. Guys, Arkham, episode 4. We knew this was going to be a good one just because it was called Arkham, and it was. When I get some initial reactions, we'll start down here with Dave Cottingham.
This was a very, very good episode, I thought. A lot more informational. Got to understand more about the city, more what's happening. You know, you got the Arkham City district and the fight that's going on, and setting up a lot more with the families and stuff like that. So I think it was, and of course you got the Penguin kind of making his way, and fantastic, I thought, overall.
Yeah, Russ?
Yeah, very edgy. Had a little thing going there with Fish hiring a new singer. That was a little, I was like, oh, okay, this is where we're going with this. But yeah, it was dark. I did like the build up between the two crime families, because we got, we kind of see where Oswald's going with all this, and his kind of, how he kind of weaseled his way into this whole mix. So but the violence was kind of a little crazy. It was an edgy show, which was good for a show called Arkham. So Arkham looked awesome too. This looks. I looked like Arkham.
Yeah.
I like comic books,
Yes.
so it was cool. I like that.
Yes.
I really liked it.
Cory, give it to me.
Ditto.
Thanks for tuning in.
And scene. No, but yeah, absolutely. I agree with both of them completely. I like the track that it's going. It's you get that feel, and I mention it every time. You get that feel of a good crime show, like a detective show mixed with everything we all love here. It's comics, so
Yeah.
pretty cool little matchup, and they're really getting into it. I love it.
So, kind of turns out that Arkham is this reason for this war that Oswald's been talking about. It's all over Arkham. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think it's the mob bosses who are going to create or start this war, or is it actually Oswald himself?
Yeah, I the latter.
The latter.
I don't think. I don't think this whole time I don't think he's been referencing this Arkham War thing. I think he's been talking about
His war?
his war this whole time.
Okay.
I think his goal is he's wanting to take over. Be the big dog. Either, and obviously he's pitting himself into the mix to get Maroni and Falcone to go against each other. I mean, what better way to fight a battle than have your enemies fight the battle for you, right? So he's just going to sit back, do his thing, hide in the shadows, and I think he's starting the war. I mean, he's the one I think that's going to bring the war, and it may not be him fighting, but it'll be his cause. I think that's gonna do it.
Russ, why is Arkham so valuable? Because we know the reason of the property, the development, the sanitation thing, or the low-income housing. But what is really behind it? Because if they're really just fighting over some real estate, then they're not as ruthless as we thought maybe. So what do you think is actually behind Arkham?
Well, one thing that really surprised me about Arkham, especially when they showed like the map, how big it was. Because you always think,
Yeah.
for me as a comic guy, I always thought it was Arkham. It's just the asylum. It's just that piece of land right there. It's isolated on just the asylum. But when they showed it was an entire, I mean, it's a pretty big
District,
landmass.
Yeah.
You know, that people were trying to fight over. So I think it's ultimately going to be the crime headquarters almost. Like that's where with the waste disposal and then the low income housing, it's ripe for the crime families to kind of establish that as their land grab, and where they can I mean, Gotham's not as bad enough as it is. They can pretty much do whatever they want, but they're almost isolating themselves in this area they can control and run everything from, because I think that's where everything's going to stem from. I think it's one of the reasons they're so apt to get in there and do this and wrestle each other to do it. You know?
Well, it looks like by looking at the map, it's pretty much the heart of Arkham. It's right in the middle. Everything kind of surrounds it. It seems. So it's kind of like the heart of the city.
Very much so.
Corey, we're all really big fans, of course, of the Nolan trilogy. You, no doubt,
Yes.
or no exception.
No doubt.
Do you kind of see Arkham City as kind of being the Narrows in the Nolan trilogy?
You're saying if like the district there is going to be the Narrows from the, it could be. I don't think we've seen something specifically like the Narrows yet. Besides the whole city, is what it kind of looks like. I mean, there's the city building part, which we've kind of seen, but we've been spending a lot of time in alleyways, I feel like, which is where most of the action happens in Gotham anyways. But I don't know, we saw a little bit of the asylum, and there was a really cool shot where the assassin, it was a kind of a lower angle, and I think he was talking to the guy in the barrel, and it was an angle where it shot up, and you saw behind him the moon was behind the Arkham. And that's like my favorite. That was like my favorite shot of the whole thing. And I just remember I wasn't even looking at the guy. I was just staring.
I know.
At him. It's so cool how they did that.
I tweeted out last night. I could totally see Batman.
Yeah, just
his silhouette. It just seemed like that was a perfect perching spot.
Absolutely.
For him to be,
so we've definitely seen that. And I mean, to add with what you guys said, I mean, especially with I don't want to change subjects, but when you mentioned, I never thought of that. That's true. He's been talking about his battle the whole time, which was interesting. And I thought we've seen the fumbling penguin, but then we saw a different penguin at some points. And I started thinking back, like, after he's killed someone, I mean, he's gone off and walked calmly and got something to eat and stuff. So it's funny. Are we seeing the real penguin half the time? That was something that I just thought I had to throw out there. That was pretty cool. I didn't realize that.
No, I think I think it's evident that he knows what he's doing, and he's known from the first episode. I think he's had this idea and this plan. The fact that it could have been over with if Gordon really would have put a bullet in his head. I think he's kind of almost being more cautious, being more methodical, and then obviously he's trying to get Gordon to trust him, to feed him information in order to kind of keep away from what he's doing.
Right. Everything is to the penguin's benefit, and I think Oswald's.
Whoa, penguin!
Penguin. To Oswald's benefit, yeah, definitely. I think he is showing us that he is a master manipulator, and he'll act however you want him to act. But it's always for his agenda, and that's shrewd, Oswald. Going to take care of a little bit of housekeeping right now. Our contest we had going ended Monday at midnight. We haven't picked a random winner yet, but thank you all for following us and subscribing, liking, all that jazz. We'll have another one coming up. This one was for the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. We will have more contests. Who knows what it'll be, but we'll let you know about that, and we'll announce a winner maybe next week or the week after. But you can still, of course, follow us on Twitter at Gotham After Show. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow the show here on our network. The network.
Yeah, once again, that's all. Bask.
YouTube.com/21network. And let's get some friends on Skype. We feel lonely on Skype. That way you can send us audio messages, video messages. We can play here on the show. Give us your questions and comments. Be a part of the dialogue, people. That's what it's all about. Coming together like that.
Correction. 21 Network spelled out. youtube.com/21
network. Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you, Dave Gaudian. That's why he's here.
I'll be keeping him around.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Hey, it's all right. We make mistakes.
There's so many, and it is confusing because it's like, you know,
It is.
sometimes it's 21 but
It's-
sometimes it's not,
it's-
and it's back and forth.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
sorry, that's
the
what we're-
Twitter doesn't have as many characters, so it has to be 2
Yeah, there you go.
2-1 network. Yeah, so
it is.
Boom.
that's what I meant. Follow the
Just search it.
network
It'll
on
come
Twitter.
up. It pops up.
Right.
Or like the first after you get like
Yeah,
search
it's
and
just right
Google
there.
up there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Guys, let me
Big
ask
deal.
you, who was the bearded gentleman in prison? Does anyone know? Does he have any significance or just random bearded?
I don't know. It was a pretty epic beard.
It was. It looked
It was
like.
neatly trimmed
It
for
was
a
nice.
prison.
It reminded me
Yeah.
of Oh Brother Where Art Thou, where they put those fake beards on in the end. That's
Yeah.
it was.
Soggy Bottom Boys.
Yeah, Soggy Bottom Boys.
Soggy Bottom Boys.
Right.
You're
Was
right
there
to
any
a song right there at
significance
the end.
Oh,
in
no. We just went.
this guy?
I don't even remember his name, but
I don't
it
know
didn't
him
ring a
as
bell.
a character. No,
Yeah.
I didn't really.
It
To me, it played it off as very well as just he's a random guy who's very in the know, just a regular Gotham criminal who's going to be.
A 2-carton cigarette type of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking he gave up a ton of information pretty quickly for just 2 cartons.
Just, yeah, man.
Well,
two
he'll give you
cartons.
some for one, apparently. He's like, oh, 2.
Yeah,
He said
must
it
be important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going to happen.
Gonna smoke these in my beard. absorb their color.
Last week he gave him a half a cigarette, so
Yeah,
definitely,
exactly.
So he's definitely
Yeah.
happy about it.
Right. So Richard Gladwell, which is not really his name, he is the eye poker outer.
The eye poker outer.
Unless you guys
guy.
have a better name for him. I mean, the newspapers didn't name him this time, so we don't.
That's
know
right.
what
Well, we came up with we could have hit him the flute guy because it should have been something that looks like a flute.
Right.
Yeah.
The
He should've,
fiddler.
he
The
should've,
fiddler.
He should have played
We're
the
gonna call him
flute,
the fiddler.
like, the little song, and then shot out, hit you in the neck.
Yeah.
You know,
Once
that
I
would've
hit
been
this
pretty
note,
cool. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And he should have been like, "Can I play you guys a tune?" And they'd be like, "We don't have enough time."
We'll have time.
Really? And just sit there. I mean, he was on the roof, the fiddle on the roof, and then he's
Right.
and then
the
he's
fiddler.
Yeah,
Ooh,
the fiddler.
Look
Yeah.
out for the fiddler. I like
That'd have
it.
been
Oh, it's not his
interesting.
name, but yeah,
No,
his
it's not
eye
his name.
poker guy was good too.
But that wasn't good. I like eye poker outer guy, man.
I thought the thing kind of looked like the finger trap from the Addams Family.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. The bat. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, not really from the comics, just someone made up for the show. Let's talk about his hiring habits here because he's working both fences. If people might have missed exactly what was going on there, just kind of give us the breakdown of what all happened.
Well, I tell you what, though, thinking back, and I know I want to be, I think we want to be completely open on the show. To be honest, thinking back now, that was maybe the one problem I had with this episode. To be honest, like, you know, we always talked about from the very beginning. We knew this was going to be a crime, a cop show first, right?
Yeah.
There's a crime, they're solving the crimes. There's other things going on, but so I felt like a lot of the intensity was taking out, well, not intensity, a lot of the mystery was taken out because we see him. You know, like the Balloon Man, we had no idea who he was, right?
Correct.
And most of the time in these shows, that's the mystery. That's what you're hanging in to find out. Who did it? You know, who is it? So you see him from the very beginning. So the mystery was gone because I thought they played it well where you find out later that, you know, he's been impersonating this guy at the job for what, 3 years or something like that?
Five.
Or 5 years, yeah. So I thought, well, how cool would that have been if we find that out, you know, as an audience.
Right.
You know, the guy's masked and they think they got him, they walk in, and all of a sudden there's this guy that's been rotting there for 5, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
part of the mystery, I think, was left out of this episode, which I would have seen. But that said, he is a hitman, so hitmen usually don't hide. You know, they know they're going to
hide in
kill their
plain
victims.
sight.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
know they're going to kill their victims, so I can understand that. But you know, I just felt like that part of it was a little different, and you know, and that's fine because they're not the typical cop show, so it could be a little different. But that's the only.
I found it a little odd that on the second councilman that he had him in the drum, but it wasn't. I mean, if they're gonna go ahead and show the guy what he is and his little tool, like, he's made a big. There's a big thing of this, putting it together the whole time.
And it's so loud.
It's like,
Yeah.
So it seemed like they did that before and they did it after a lot. So I wasn't really sure why they didn't do it there. I mean, he had him in the barrel, opened the top up, and yeah, he had the blood here on his shoulder. But I'm like, why didn't you just poke his eye out or something? Why didn't they
Yeah.
show that? I mean, if you're going to go ahead and reveal that whole information ahead of time, why not do it there?
Yeah.
You know, because it was kind of like it became more of a discovery amongst the police, Gordon and Bullock afterwards, is when Nigma shows up to say, "Oh, he had that's the same guy." I mean, so it just seemed like a little.
I know what a
odd to me.
paradox is, smartass.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Bullock.
So I just thought
They're
it
back
was
and
weird.
forth.
Yeah.
Their back and forth are great.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Bullocks
didn't he
and
say
Enigma.
though that the barrel thing was from the person who hired him? That he was, it was to send a message.
That's what he wanted. That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense to burn him to make it look like it was different, but since we saw the hitman, it became more of an afterthought.
Right.
It became more of a discovery thing between all the characters. Say, oh, he had a, hope.
Right.
For him.
Yeah, I
It's
wouldn't- yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah. What I thought was odd was the first councilman was killed with a poke. So then Maroney, I guess, is like, oh, this guy got killed by a poke. Let's hire that guy who pokes people
Yeah.
to go get.
You're right.
He would have realized, right, that I'm hiring the guy who killed. I don't
Maybe
know.
he's outsourcing. Maybe he's not the one. Maybe go hire someone. And the guy's like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, poker guy
I'll hire
just
the
finished
eye
one. He's
poker outer
good.
guy. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, let's talk about Barbara because there was a lot of Barbara.
Barbara.
She was wearing pants for one thing. Which I don't know what that's
I was
about.
going to say that. That's
Someone
one
let her
thing-
out of the apartment.
I haven't been on the show, but I tell you, that was one thing I caught initially. I'm like, she wears no pants ever.
That's okay.
To the point, which is fine. I'm not complaining. I'm
No
just
pants,
saying
yeah.
the lack of pants or any kind of basic bottom garment whatsoever was a little surprising at that point. So when I actually saw her the first time, like in a skirt and stuff, I'm like, oh, she actually does dress.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was on AMC, she probably wouldn't have a shirt on either.
It's true.
So,
That's a good point.
yeah.
Just walking around. She's a
Don't-
nudist.
Don't get lost here.
She,
Welcome back to the Gotham After Show. Because she finally revealed her secret to Jim, because this is the first time he actually asked her.
Yeah, I
and
guess so.
do you think she was doing it to clear her conscience, or hey, I'll give you a secret, now you give me a secret? What about this Cobblepot guy?
Yeah,
I
I totally think that.
I thought it was. I mean, it's always been really weird. Some of the things in this, like, I don't know. I just find some. I guess we're talking about problems with it. Like, I don't mean to get off subject, but Balloon Man, when he, and I didn't realize it until my wife said something about it, where he handcuffed her to the rail in the middle of Gotham City. Like, it's kind of dangerous, And then so it's also kind of weird that Barbara's sitting there going, I can't live like this with secrets, and I'm thinking, girl. You
Yeah.
got so much secrets, what the heck? And so she did tell him in a way, but she didn't tell him the whole thing.
No.
She's still leaving out.
yeah,
She
sure.
takes part at 4:20 every day. She comes home.
Oh, Jim knows about that.
So I mean, I
He's
mean,
gotta know.
and all the drugs, because apparently there was more. And Montoya
Right.
apparently was with her, just this big together and
It was basically
making out
Orange is
and
the New Black.
shooting. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but there's something deeper going on there. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that she took him. I mean, because he still didn't tell her.
Right. Now, why do you
So, I don't
think? Do
know
you
why.
think he's not telling her because when he did open up to her about the job, she went and blabbed to the papers? I mean, do you think that's the initial
Definitely.
thing behind it, or is
I
there
think
more?
that's definitely part of it. I think. Well, I mean, again, I'm going back to comic stuff here, but Barbara and Jim have always had problems. I mean, in the comics, after Barbara is born, they're
Barbara the
divorced.
daughter.
Barbara the daughter.
Their daughter,
Yeah.
Barbara.
Yes.
So that's going to happen. So it's not breaking up now, but there's just showing that rift, and because he's so deep into trying to be the good cop in a bad situation, he's doing a couple things. Obviously, he doesn't want to say anything to her because she did blab the papers. And the whole Oswald, we don't know who he is. She thinks he's somebody else at this point. He's got to keep that undercover because I think he's more afraid that, if he does tell her that it was the guy who came, that it was Oswald, and
It was Peter Humboldt.
Yeah, he was supposed to actually kill him. He's afraid that if Oswald's seen alive by Falcone, he's gonna get himself and Oswald killed.
Right.
And that what's to stop Falcone from going after her or attacking his family. So he's got a lot to cover up to keep her. I think he's kind of protecting her. I think he's also concerned of just letting this thing out, and he's in a no-win situation. So he's going to take that risk and be like, "Look, I'd rather lose you than have something bad happen." So
Yeah.
he's really keeping that close to his vest. He's willing to take that chance at this point. He's such a good guy.
Right.
He's an awesome cop.
He is. He's good.
Jim Gordon.
Jim
I think she said
Gordon.
that. Yeah.
Let's talk about the other females in this episode. Of course, Fish Mooney, but we had a couple of singers there. One, Liza, she gets the job by pummeling the other girl, the better singer. It's like, oh, you can sing better than me. Well, I could right cross
Dude,
you
yeah,
in
she
your,
knocked her
Yes.
in your larynx. See if you can sing now. Why don't you? But so apparently, this Liza girl is becoming Fish Mooney's Plan B. So, do we have any thoughts on what Plan B involves? And
Seduction.
Yeah, I think
A girl or
I think
a boy.
it's the
yeah,
I think it's the Falcone replacement.
Falcone.
Falcone. Thank you.
He makes mistakes too.
You know, the last episode was about his woman getting attacked,
Mhm.
right? I think this is that replacement woman, possibly,
So you think
to kind of get
she's
in
gonna
on.
kind of plant her to become Falcone's new girlfriend
Mhm.
and take things down from the inside?
That
Or
was
give
my
intel,
that was my
or-
first thought. That was
Yeah?
my first
That's a
thought.
good theory. I like that. That's pretty good. I
Yeah.
didn't really think of that, but that's probably a good thing because she went after that his last girlfriend. She was gonna be disfigured. Made that perfectly clear last episode.
Right.
But I was kind of surprised when, like, Liza, I thought was going to just be the one, obviously, just based on how she seduced Fish, because I thought the first girl, she was kind of like, well, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Like, she sings good, but I thought that was going to be
Back
done
rub.
with it.
Back rub?
When she showed back up again in the parking lot, I was like, wait, you kept her around? We'll just get the girl. Okay, she didn't sing. Who cares? I mean, you're not
Yeah.
really using her for singing.
I think
right?
she knew, her choice, obviously, but she was like,
She would-
but
she
can
would
you
do whatever she's
Yeah,
willing to do.
and she's a weapon. She says she's a weapon, so apparently she's
Right.
gonna have to do some physical something. So I think she's gonna train her. Maybe not a pokey thingy, but she'll have some kind of what you got to say over here? I'm trying
Welcome
to
to
do a show
Gotham
over
After
here.
Dark.
Crazy. But no, I mean, apart from her good looks, I mean, I think she's, Dave, I think has it spot on. I mean, she's gonna get in there close to Falcone and then either assassinate him or something else. She said it then right on the show. She's gonna be a weapon, and it's funny. I mean, it's funny that she asked boy or girl. I just thought that was interesting because it's like, okay, boy or girl. I can't really think. Besides, would it be awkward to seduce her? If they said girl, then she may not even want. I don't know. I was really trying to wrap my head around it, and I think
they
it's
were all gonna say boy, and she's like, well, if you have to do some stuff you don't want to do,
Right,
so I'm gonna
exactly,
start off
yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
okay.
type
That's
of
true.
thing. So
Just trying to test to make them
because that's
uncomfortable.
what she made that perfectly clear with Liza. She was like, are you willing to do
Right.
anything that it takes?
Right.
She's like, I guess. She seemed kind of wishy-washy.
Her
about it.
attitude the whole
Yeah,
time is
I
interesting
guess.
I
too.
suppose,
No, I
you know.
definitely am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
do I get the job or what?
Russ, why do you think Fish said, I found her just in time? What's so timely about Liza?
Getting that plant in there right when I think she knew all this was going to happen with Arkham, the splitting between the two families, because that's going to set up everything. And now that those two factions have set up and they've become almost equally powerful because they both have stakes in this thing now, and Maroni's now has an actual hand against Falcone, which he didn't have before. He was kind of like, because he said that in the bar after, he's like, now that we have this, money's gonna be rolling in, we have power now, so
We can eat whole steaks.
yeah, exactly. Just with your face.
No forks.
No forks. No
and
forks in this family.
The fact that that's there in place now, she's like, okay, I got my person in place too, so we can go ahead and start my end of the deal, which may have been harder after the fact because everything's in place. Everything's starting to pick up now, especially. Everything is set up and ready to go, and the war's about to happen. So she's prepared now, which I think that starts.
We got more Bruce and Alfred scenes, which I think we will in every show. Didn't get any cat in this episode. Little disappointed about that. But we got our Alfred and Bruce scene. What did everyone think developed from this?
Well,
We're getting there. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not in any sort of surmountable amount of like Batman, and it's like this little. But I mean, it's still cool. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's one part of the show that I was really looking forward to, which is knowing what all these people are and having them rise. And that rise. Well, that's different. But anyways, it's so it's really cool. what we're seeing, especially with Bruce and Ping One, and
Yeah.
haven't seen like you said, Cat I mean, we saw Ivy for a second in like the first one, so, and then Riddler. Who knows when he's gonna make a move?
I think it's easy. I think it was easy. It could have been easy to write that scene at the end where, when Bruce says to Gordon, "Can Gotham be saved?" I think it's easy to write, yes, but I thought it was awesome when he said, "I believe it's worth trying."
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was phenomenal writing. I think that because that gives Bruce a reason. You know, like once he sees these years go by, someone trying with their life, it's easier for him to say, okay, it may not be worth, or it may not be able to be saved, but I'm going to try because this guy is trying. You know, it's not that because you can easily think like he says yes, he grows up.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, yeah, well,
got it.
But
He's got it.
But he could be like,
Good to go.
well, and if it's still horrible, it's like, well, he lied to me. There's no way, you know. So I just think that was a perfect line that that Gordon could have said to a young Bruce like that, because I think he needs to hear that, and I think it's going to be kind of a constant theme throughout.
I like to see the growth of Bruce. You know, the last episode we had the whole, "Who do you think you are, a detective?" Love that line. That was great. And this time he's just like, "I want to see all the papers my parents had on Arkham, everything."
That was
Alfred's
cool.
like, "What?"
That was really cool
Why
when
do
he
you
said
want all
that,
He's
yeah.
like,
Okay, but
you know, I'm gonna start
why?
digging into all this stuff, and then to have it taken away from him again. It's just another part of his parents being taken away. So it keeps building. These criminals are tearing down my parents' dream. They killed them. Now they're ripping everything else they built, and you know, it's just a really good growth of him. I like that Alfred wasn't yelling at him this time. You know, but I do like Alfred's character. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like how he's tough with him when he needs to be. But this time he seemed a little more, you know, I'm going to help you, just kind of see what's going on in your head type of thing. So I really like their interaction. I think it just keeps building. You know, it's a nice little build for him. You know, just continue to dig, figure out what's going on. This builds to, I want to get a computer now, and I want to start building stuff, and I want to start, you know, hunting people down. And
Very true.
So it's just a nice build for him. I think.
It's really cool when he said, that line was cool when he said, "Can it be saved?" But then when he goes, "Well, then you have to stop it."
Yeah.
And then Gordon's like, his face was like, it was cool. Like, you know, stop it. So
So let's talk about the mayor, if we can, because he had an important part in this. Of course, Gordon saved his life and all this, but what do we think about the mayor? Do we think he's dirty? Do we think he's... Because, you know, he changed his whole position on Arkham there at the end, and what was the reason behind that? Discuss.
discuss amongst yourselves.
I don't know. He seems very shady to me, because, especially from the episode when we first saw, when we got the Selena Kyle episode, when he's going around with the kids, send them to, you know, juvenile home. It just seemed like he was on that, let's clean this up and
He's
do
like
some
one or
shady
two okay, but a whole bus full.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but then he was kind of concerned when the bus was attacked. It's like, oh no, those kids were on there. So I'm not really sure where he stands. And the fact that he made such a big, you know, statement in front of the press, this is the Wayne's vision, and, you know, Bruce could see it, and this is going to be great. And, you know, at the very end, I don't know if it was just the simple fact that someone tried to assassinate him, kill him, that he's just like, oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and let's just split it up, and we'll all be fine.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't know where he lies right now. I mean, but it's a good portrayal, because I do like the fact that I don't know where he stands. You know, that's good. That's a little mystery in shows that I like. It's very easy to do, you know, a bad guy, good guy type of thing. But just to have that kind of medium, you know, ambiguous ground there is kind of cool, because it keeps you guessing the whole time, I think.
Yeah, and he did seem a little shocked when he was like, well, how about the police department? And Gordon's like, no, trust me, you don't want to go there. And you're like,
Yeah.
jeez.
I was like, oh, I got guys out there protecting me. He's like,
What does this
there's
say?
nobody there.
Right.
You know, type of thing.
Which
So,
is also very Dark Knight-ish.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a lot of little, I feel, little innuendos there.
Yeah.
Police protection ends up being the ones, swim.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know, what do you think? What do you think, Dave?
I don't think I don't know if he's necessarily dirty. I don't think he's taking money like, you know, all these other cops and politicians are. So I just think he understands Gotham, and, you know, doesn't necessarily do the right thing or maybe the humane thing, but he does enough to satisfy basically everybody, and I think that's what he's kind of doing at the end there. He's, oh man, my life's at stake. Let me just make everybody happy,
Right.
and I'll compensate for both families and the Waynes, because Arkham's going to get rebuilt. And I think he's just that he's trying to make everybody happy so he can stay in office. That's it,
Cory, you were saying something about Cobblepot's roof.
His little
map.
collage. I think there's a lot of things we're going to see later on from that collage. I've looked at it not crazy extensively, but when I saw it, I'm like, this is going to be important. There's stuff in here that we don't, because we had mentioned how it makes sense even more now, and it's like it's actually Cobblepot's war. Mm-hmm. So he knows more than we. I guess should I put this? He knows more than we think he knows. You know what I mean? Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then the audience, we think he's just fumbling, like just trying to make it through, but we kind of saw that.
Yeah, he has a plan.
He has something going on because we saw a different looking Cobblepot with the cannolis. Mm-hmm. He was real cool. He wasn't, he wasn't fumbling. He was confident.
Yeah.
So I think that collage has a lot of answers, and I noticed, and this is back when we got that first look of kind of the season, and saw the pig face. So we thought, oh my gosh, Professor Pig. So this may change a little bit, but the fact it has his face or his picture and it has oink oink beside it, and I thought that was interesting. And along with some other things that you kind of try to look and pick and see what's going on through there that we may see later on. But I thought that was interesting. He could be Professor Pig, but that's different now. So I don't know. It still could be. I don't know.
Well, here's my prediction: at the end of the entire series, Oswald Cobblepot's going to start walking. Then he's going to straighten out his foot. And he's going to be walking normal. Yeah. And then it's going to be the usual suspects.
There you go.
So, in case you didn't get that reference, usual suspects.
Yeah.
All right. So,
yeah.
Speaking of Cobblepots, what an episode for him. He got a promotion. Good job,
Congrats.
Oswald. Because white is not a good color for you, so I'm glad you got back in your pimp.
And wasn't he
suits?
Yeah. For a busboy, for our dish cleaner, he was always really clean.
Yeah.
Notice that? I know. And if you've worked in a restaurant, because I know I have, you are disgusting.
I've eaten in restaurants.
Yeah. You're disgusting, yeah, in the biz.
Yeah.
I swear I thought that Maroney was going to say, get him a penguin suit. I could have swore. I was waiting for him to say
See,
that,
why
but he didn't.
didn't he? See, that's little things like that would be so awesome.
Yes, to some people, but other people,
He's not going to do. What is he going to do?
Their collective eyes
Slice
would be
Maroney up.
Penguin suit.
But see, that's stuff that I like, though. That's the stuff that I think are like, oh yeah, because I wish they kind of did, little, because I feel like they've just been stretched. So last, they just stretch a little bit some of the stuff. Just flat out give it to us. Don't walk around and give the nods.
Wayman or Alfred's like, put down that bat, man.
Yeah.
Something like
not too campy, but yes, but stuff in that general direction.
That's a really dark night out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to collect
Wink,
the
nudge, wink, wink, say no more.
Wink, nudge, nudge, online.
Yeah.
Dark night. Yeah, but the cannoli scene was really awesome, wasn't it? Because he's sitting there with this grin on his face, and they're like, oh, those are for you, eat up.
Enough to even
you
eat
deserve them.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. I know you're crooks and you're dumb, but you deserve them.
Face,
But that's the best part about that scene, though, if you think about it, he never said anything about them. He let them say something.
That's true.
That's true. He didn't walk in with
He didn't walk in and say, hey, I got some
He's got
cannolis.
a pink box.
Like, hey,
He
what
sat
about
down with it.
That's a good point.
And then they were like, hey, I got the... So he just took their fear out right away. And he thought of double... I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because
Very
he
good
didn't. It would have been different if he telegraphed it and was like,
Right.
"Hey, I've got these for you guys. Check this out."
It's
They were
like awkwardly
they were
like,
"Hey, what's that, man?" But
Just like it was like in their face, like
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Smell it.
Yeah, the one guy.
these, these, yeah.
The one guy was like,
Yeah.
he just didn't say anything. It was just.
It's like, yeah. I like his. I
already had one.
I like his approach. That was good.
It was good.
To walk in like that
Yes.
and just walk up the door.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a great scene.
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
great.
Yes. And lastly, the spike, the killing device or whatever. Where do we think that's going to end up?
Yeah, interesting.
Come on.
I to be honest, you guys talked about it earlier
Seems odd to
today.
me.
I didn't think about that.
Really?
Well, I didn't
No.
think about it then, no. But I mean, it makes sense. But like, did he get possession of it? How did?
I don't think so.
I don't think
So how do
no,
we
I mean,
know?
got into no. It was just one of those things that, again, big comic book guy.
Oh, sure.
As soon as it went, shook, I was like, "That's going in his umbrella."
Oh, sure,
That's
yeah.
going in. That's where it comes from. That's what I thought initially.
That's cool. Yeah.
So
Yes, and there is an episode coming up called "The Penguin's Umbrella." Is there not? Or Oswald's umbrella,
I
Penguin's
don't know.
umbrella.
because the fact
maybe.
that the first episode he's out there with the umbrella out in the alleyway, and then
Yeah.
it's just kind of building. It was just a nice little nod, I thought, to have that in there. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna get that somehow. That's
Absolutely.
gonna be a tip
I want
of
to see
his
the machine
umbrella.
gun umbrella as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
The twirly one? Oh, I'm thinking of Tim Burton's though.
Yeah, I know.
Wrong umbrella. Yeah.
I picked the wrong umbrella.
Yeah.
A glass of ice wine.
Yeah.
Well,
you gotta do the
there was a
thing
thing that I noticed too. I mean, we did, but after the robbery happened, and then the two guys were in there trying to hunt down, see all the guys dead and stuff, and they open up the freezer. He's in there. I'm like, the penguin's in the freezer. That's pretty good.
He's in the icebox.
dang, yeah.
I was like,
Chill out.
he's-
I'm too busy looking for Joker
cool.
and
No,
stuff.
no,
I'm
no.
missing all
That's
these
what I
other
noticed. I
things.
was like, he's in the freezer. There you
That's
go.
pretty good.
And speaking of Joker references, it's time for this week's Joker sighting or references. Ding, ding, ding. Not a lot, maybe two.
Yeah.
Who wants to give us one from the beginning of the episode?
Stretches. I think it's stretching it bad.
I only know it because
yeah,
the
the front, right?
I think maybe also you could also glean a little bit from when Oswald and Gordon were in the alleyway when the three girls come laughing, cackling as they're walking into the alleyway. You know, someone said they were dressed as they had some sort of clown thing going on. I don't know, but the fact they were laughing real loud,
Yeah.
you know, that
Yeah.
could have been
Very true.
because it broke everything up, got him to get away,
Uh-huh.
and just ended the scene. That was the one.
And of course, the second one being the Crown Prince was said, which is very
Yes.
close to the Clown Prince. So that's
Yeah, it was funny that scene in the beginning. I noticed too. They didn't hide the fact that he just disappeared. You actually see him turn and walk away. You know,
Yeah.
usually like Gordon, you'll cut to Gordon turning,
Right, yeah.
and then he'll turn back and he's gone. But you actually
that was
like,
cool. Yeah.
but you actually see him kind of turn around and walk.
Yeah.
I thought,
I'm out of here.
yeah, you're not
Exit
hiding.
stage left.
Let's just
Yeah.
get out of there. So,
Which
cool.
he's going to be getting used to later on down the road.
Yeah.
right. Exactly. So we want to do some questions and comments now. I think we'll start with a comment,
Oh, yeah.
which Dave has on his phone that is not at the ready.
forgot,
That's
yeah.
fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But this
So, pretty
comment
cool.
comes to us from our YouTube channel from our last episode, Balloon Man, and it reads.
and it reads.
reads.
Balloon Man.
Yeah.
I always think of that. This is so weird. Now I can't. I don't even watch him anymore. So I'm having a complete. The Molecular Man.
Oh, Conan.
Conan. Daggone
Yeah.
it. See, I don't even watch him anymore, man. So he's completely. But I was like the Balloon Man.
Yeah.
So one of the comments we got was, "Great show. I'm leaning in the direction that Oswald will become an informer to Gordon." This is after last week's episode, since he almost died after sharing something with Montoya. I also think that this comes from Glenn McSparran. I also think Barbara will tell Montoya that Oswald is alive, and Montoya will follow Gordon to see what his agenda is and possibly help him secretly, since she appears to be a good cop, and she may even introduce him into the small circle of good cops. Montoya.
Interesting.
Very
So,
interesting.
Very interesting. Obviously, we didn't get Gordon confessing who
Right.
Oswald is, so
Yeah.
she doesn't know that he's still alive. So technically, Montoya thinks he's a bad cop still. So I
Right.
think she would have to find out at some point.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting. And I wonder within that circle of, saying if there is, within that circle of good cops, will there be a good DA in that circle or something?
Yeah.
A white knight, maybe?
Maybe. Or a younger one, somebody
true.
maybe. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of
Gotham's
interesting.
white knight.
Well, he's casted already.
Yeah,
so,
yes.
yeah.
Harvey Dent. I believe in Harvey Dent. Do you? Which leads us more gym talk. Leads us to a question that we got via the tweet machine. This is from @Mardova808. Mardova.
We're just slaying names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry for
We
mispronouncing.
just slay them.
Mardova808.
Just.
They asked, do you think Jim and Barbara will make up in the next episode, or will they make us wait a few weeks? Also, how long do you think it'll take Jim to open up to Barbara?
I don't know. That's
Relationship stuff here.
You there?
I don't know.
It's like
I
you're like-
thought I had to raise my hand or something.
Like-
I think I'll drag that out a little bit. I think they will. That's kind of that was a very kind of finite scene at the end when she was walking away. He's in the background. You know, she stops, but she doesn't actually turn back and look at him. She just leaves. He's just very. I think he's already set in his way. I'm not going to tell her. I'm willing to let this fall apart
Right.
to protect her or whatever he's doing while he's hiding the whole thing. There's a lot going on with him, but I think they'll drag that out for a while. You know, make it a relationship thing that he's got to be thinking about as well. You know, or maybe she goes to Montoya. Who knows?
Is that her? Is that her place or their place
Slumber
together?
party.
We already had a little bit of kissing going on
think
with
it's-
Fish Mooney and her.
I mean,
There's
might,
been some. It's
Yeah.
interesting how
Yeah,
they've been
so,
doing that.
hey.
We're having our own conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
If you're just joining us, it's the Russell
guys
and
can
Cory
do so,
show.
yeah.
No, but I think it initially was Barbara's place. They might call it their place now, but I think it was her residence, her domicile.
Yeah, because if
First,
they're
I
both
believe.
living there,
Because Montoya had a key, so obviously
Yeah.
that
there
was
you
her
go.
place, right?
Yeah, it was her
so that's
place,
true.
so-
So if he's living there, I mean, they're obviously going to make up. Now, whether or not
Yeah.
they talk the next couple episodes, who knows?
right.
Where am I going to stay?
Yeah.
I was waiting on that. Yeah.
Oh, come on, he's gonna stay with Bullock.
Look,
they're
the
gonna
odd couple.
back up.
Ba-da,
Yes,
The Odd Couple.
Yeah, exactly.
that dish is clean. No, it's not, Bullock. I don't know what your problem is. He's not.
But thank
he's-
you for your questions and comments. We love getting those. Keep sending them in. That's why we film 24 hours after the show, so you can let it marinate. Send us questions, comments, become part of the discussion here on the After Show. So that about does it for us. If I'm forgetting anything, I mean, there's always more to talk about.
Yeah.
Man,
The
it's
discussion continues on YouTube and on Twitter. And speaking of that, have a great time live tweeting with everyone when the shows are on. That was me. It might be, who knows, but so far it's been me. And I love doing it. Love talking to you guys. I love that we got Gotham-gasm. It wasn't trending or anything, but lots of retweets.
Yes.
And, Gotham-gasm is what you get after watching an amazing episode
Yes.
of Gotham. So
what you call it.
that was
Okay.
fun. Thanks for that.
I would say that one of our, not only fans of this show, but pretty much fans of the entire 21
The
Network,
network.
he had a great picture of his
Yes, you did.
Gotham-gasm. That
Yeah.
was pretty good.
That,
That was well done.
his,
Well done.
his G face.
Yes.
Yeah.
G-face.
So I gotta give kudos to him.
Yes.
He's all with it, man. You know.
At King Dark Knight.
Yes.
Darkheart. At King
Darkheart.
Darkheart. I'm sorry.
You
At
should.
King Darkheart.
That's what you should be.
Listen in the comics and hear me talk about him too.
Yeah.
So it's-
Yeah, he helps out on that a lot.
yes.
Yes.
Good
I
thing.
would like to thank Dave Cottingham. He is at dcottingham21 on Twitter. Russell Johnson. He is at Director421 on Twitter. Casey. It's your brother. He has a brother named Casey. Cory
You may very
Cooley
well be on the show
at
later on.
Master Coo on Twitter.
Man, oh man.
I was so close. A perfect show.
Boozed.
A perfect show.
Boozed.
I'm drunk. Follow the show. It is at Gotham After Show. Until next time, you stay frosty.